Okay, you guys are looking good.
We are live.
Yes. It's Tuesday again.
It's Tuesday. It is Tuesday.
And we can actually see ourselves.
Hello.
Yes.
So
Well,
we're pretty
where was Michael?
I know we moved
There
it.
he is. Okay.
Hello. We've got people popping in already. We moved from the back for now because our Wi-Fi, just when you get to the very edge of our rather large studio, I think the Wi-Fi goes. So I do like to see people that are, sending me hearts and kisses. I don't know if you guys get any, but I know I get hearts. So hello everybody. Insta Live number 23 Tuesday Talk here at the Doma Studio.
Take
23.
There you go.
So good day. How was everybody's week?
Yes, how was everybody's week?
My week
I don't
was
know.
pretty
Do we have applause or anything here? Did everybody have a good week, a bad week, a thumb up, a thumb down, a smiley face?
Well, if nobody's
hearts?
applauding here, I'm applauding all week.
We had a great week. I think we had a great week.
We
oh
had
my
a
gosh,
great
we
week.
did so much.
Yeah, I don't even know what happened, but we had a great week.
Oh, it's a blur.
And the crowning action was yesterday. Well, we started it at least. We're almost done our latest exhibition. You see a few pieces behind us, and it will be completed today. Will be pretty exciting to see, and the Saturday is the opening reception. So if you ever wanted to meet amazing New York City artists, do it this Saturday, 7 to 9 p.m.
Yes.
They're all
Great.
here. Everybody in New York City is here.
How many artists again do we have?
11 artists represented on the wall, but that's not all of it.
Exactly.
There will be many more in the room introducing themselves and what they do. Yeah, hopefully they bring some of their creations with them.
Yes. That'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
and I think it's going to be interesting because for those of you who've attended our receptions, they are everything with me being that Libra that I am. I go so far one way and then so far the other way. So I say, come in your shorts, come in your pajamas, come on your way to the gym or on your way home from the gym. It doesn't matter, This is not a place where you need to dress to impress, but you need to bring your truth, yourself, your heart, your open-mindedness, and we easily accept. It is not about what you have on your back.
No.
No.
And I think it's going to be interesting because in saying that, it's so low-key, and I try to get people to come. They're thinking stuffy gallery openings, and we are so far from that. However, what you do gain is a perspective on art. If you haven't done this that often, a perspective on art that you would not have had you not attended.
Correct.
Because they become these little mini master classes, and you never know where I'm going to go with it in speaking. Kind of like our live talks on Tuesdays.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
It's improvised. It's not rehearsed.
Yeah, there's nothing written down,
Right.
which is why you see me space off into my very famous menopause brain when I say,
Your little
there it went.
tangent.
All in the moment.
There it went.
All in the moment.
I try to wrap it up nice in a tight little bow.
But always a highlight of every reception is to hear Mariana speak from her heart. And you really feel the connection in the room. So just for that, I would say you have to be here.
Well, the biggest thing I do see when you do talk about the artist, you have a true connection with them. It's not just a frivolous skin deep, it's beyond the skin that you see and beyond the artwork itself that you see the person themselves, and that's what's expressed obviously in the art that you bring into the space.
Right, and for years to come, because it's not just momentary and just like for that minute. It's if you connect with somebody, this goes on for years. And of course might not be every day, but when it comes to remembering this moment, when it comes to remembering a certain art piece, a certain artist, it just happens naturally.
It does.
So,
we stalk them sometimes. We keep tabs on them because we're very proud. Because some people have gone from our Midoma wall to the Brooklyn Museum.
Mm-hmm.
Other people have gone from our Midoma wall to the gift shop in MoMA, because we encourage them to do different things, you know, put your prints on other things. And I mean, I have so many stories in the 19 years that we're approaching having done this. Now we moved here in 2010, but 10 years prior we were on the Upper East Side on a side street, cute little ground floor location. So the stories that I have, because you've seen the art change every 5 weeks and we kind of change things around here this time, this is the year of why not, 2019.
Yeah.
So if someone only has pieces available for 2 weeks because it's in between shows, if they have the energy and they show me the level of commitment that I expect, and that they are approachable and communicative, then I will find 2 weeks of time for them to have a show this week. This is the year of why not. So we have been, because of this genius brain, working on and talking about this immigrant nonsense that's been going on in the world. And I'm sorry, you know, I have so many different kinds of people in my circle, in my family, in my hometown, in my neighborhood here in New York, which is kind of home. It's become my hometown because I've lived here in the city longer than I've lived anywhere else, including upstate New York. So I think it's important to know that I value my opinions, I value your opinions. I also value a good debate, and I touched on this last week where I said, I understand that we don't all have the same thought, the same opinion. I understand I don't have the same opinion about broccoli now that I did when I was 12. I happen to love broccoli, by the way. So, not when I was 12, though. So, you know, things can change within ourselves. You can have a difference of opinion with someone else who you admire or never met before. But my question is, if someone does not have the same opinion, being curious by nature, not by being an instigator, right? Curious by nature, I want to know why. Why do you feel that way? And it can lead into beautiful conversations where you agree to disagree or you meet halfway. But the key is to start the conversation.
And understanding with it.
So yes, and you know, compassion and everything that's been going on, if you're not kind and empathetic and just compassionate, it's crazy to me because we need each other, guys. We need each other. You know, on a sad day and a down day for myself, I think what's been missing, and you know what's been missing is I don't have a girlfriend here anymore. So my BFF lives in England now. I had another friend who lives in Philly now. I have another friend who lives in California too. A lot of people have left this city because of the wages stagnating and the increases in rent and taxes going up. And I've reached out to politicians to have this discussion. I don't know what can be done, but you know, everybody talks about minimum wage going up, but small companies have shut down because they can't afford, if they're on the hourly rate. Now we're a salon, so just haircutters, they get paid, minimum wage must be met only when they're actually physically working on their client, if there aren't any other jobs really to be done. So we don't have assistants. The 2 assistants that I did have in the 19 years, they were on a salary until they got on the floor. But stylists are when they're working on their clients. So, you know, there are things that don't work across the board either, but to force small businesses to adhere to standards, which I think should be in place, but then we need help as a small business because we've been living on scraps, but we're fine, I'm still beefy. You know, we can't do it. A lot of us have shut down. So I agree with all of this talk that $15 an hour in this city doesn't do much. I don't make it, which is why we've been told we live on the poverty level. And I'm not doing this to have anyone feel sorry for us. Because I have my artists, I have my designers, I have my loves, I have this studio, and it has helped so many people in the time that we've been here. But something else needs to be done from the other way. The people at the top who govern the city, the state, the USA, they need to start looking at how they can help us be able to do what they are starting to require, because we don't have it. So we need to start that conversation. In all of this, what makes America? What compiles
the American dream.
yes, the American dream, which we did something in 2016, an American Dream exhibit. And we started the conversation then. In 2017, we started talking about the immigrants and the rap that we're getting. I'm sorry, first and second generation, I'm the only one in my family born in this country, and they worked hard, and they worked so hard, we were able to open our studio because of their hard work. I've been struggling trying to keep it open, okay? So I'm the one with the education, they didn't have it. What has changed between 1954 and now in this country, right?
With the finances stuff, how they've raised everything and the cost of living, and working hard is not paying off anymore. It's like you almost have to be rich in order to survive now.
Right.
In the beginning, and that's not the American dream to what I remember growing up.
Right.
It was about hard work and putting, like with your parents coming here,
Yes,
of course.
you work hard, you
work
get
hard.
rewarded.
Exactly.
You work hard, you better love it, because that might be all you get to do.
Yeah.
Is work hard. But back to my immigrants, right? So in 2016, we did the American Dream exhibit, and in 2017, this man starts talking about, this wall talk, wall. And then he says, we need to start interviewing, our dreamers. Because we all came here, a lot of New Yorkers came here with a dream in their heart. So it's funny that we start using this term, the dreamers, right? You with me? And then you came up with this great idea. Talk about the art and how you wanted to attack that. And we had Nazia and Anthony.
Yeah, I mean,
They warmed my heart.
if you hear something that constantly, you don't even know how to respond to it, because it's something that you can't even process, because you're in New York and you're talking about, anti-immigration, and it's like you can't even fathom it, right?
No, not here.
So you hear it another time, and then you just start automatically. It seems like if it irks you enough, you want to do something about it, and just feeling bad about it is not enough anymore. And talking about it is not enough anymore. Then you want to do something, and you do. You take some action. So this was in direct response to all of this negative talk that was around us, just to do something to level the playing field, to do something positive. So to introduce great people and what it means for the city and for a place to receive people from other places. What does it do to the place? What does it do to the people that live there? And it's very important to point it out. And it doesn't make one story better than the other. These are just stories of great people, and we can't have enough of those.
Yeah, well, with like Mariana saying, talking to all these people, listening to their conversations, though you may not be rich in money at times sometimes, but with all of that talk with a lot of people, you're very rich in knowledge and wisdom. Because of cultures,
I wanted to throw it in before. Right now, for us, it's the mission.
Exactly.
This is our pay, what we're getting, what we're receiving at this point, because we have a platform, and we are using this platform. It's not about us personally at this point,
right?
Because that's something that we can always do. This is bigger than us.
Well, the reason why we flourish in America was because, with immigration coming, we weren't the first people here, in order to grow in that's how come we have buildings like this, or doing hairdressing the way we do, or making clothes the way we do, doing art the way we do. Everything that has put into our, I don't know how to say it, it's not really your experience part of life. When you don't experience certain things like this, you get stuck in just a box and you go and you be a
Right,
robot
right.
through life. But when you actually open your heart up to other things and new ideas and
Right.
experiences, you never know where the roads can take you,
Right.
and they take you far.
Which brings me back, Joseph,
Mhm.
to what we started today with, and talking about our wall pro-immigrants. Our New York City dreamers will be here
Mhm.
on Saturday from 7 to 9. And this is why I feel it takes more encouragement for some than others to get them to come out.
Mhm.
And I've mentioned before that I've had people say, yeah, I'm just not comfortable in those situations. Well, you can't expect your clients to be interested in what you're interested in. People have said this to me, which is fine if that's your truth. But if you're hiding behind a false statement because you're fearful of coming out and being maybe feeling awkward, exposed, vulnerable,
That's a good
stop
thing.
it.
That's a good thing,
Embrace
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Embrace it. If
Your
you
vulnerability
come
is
into
you.
this room and you find me in this room and you grab my hand, I know you need my support. And I will make it as calm or as embarrassing as you want it to be.
Very true. I mean, I've experienced it, but it helps.
Yes.
You know? So I want to quickly touch on the fact that I have a few more pieces to come in. We have some very well-known people. You may know their art, you may not even know who's done their art. I'm not going to give it away. But if you're following our Instagram and Facebook stuff, then you've already seen names. But still, unless you've Googled them, you may not know that you know them, or you may know that you do know them and you love them and you should be here. It's only going to be 2 hours.
By Saturday, you might be sick and tired of all the announcements and postings, and you feel like you know everybody like they're your best friends.
Yeah.
That's
And trust me, if you met them in person, they probably would be, because my criteria for involving myself and my studio with anyone is that I need to feel that their passion, and I need to find them relatable, and I need to find them approachable, because you know, at the end of the day, artists and designers, they want to get their merchandise out, right? Everyone starts somewhere. We're trying to give them exposure and get their art out, or get their handbags out, or their shoes out, or whatever it is that we've offered up in the 19 years here.
Mm-hmm.
So in order for me to do that, you need to attend. So I'm asking you, please come, attend, meet them. Again, there's going to be a tiny master class with each artist. I'll probably only give them a couple of minutes each, but I'll get it out of them. And hey, my Japanese artist, fear not, I speak Japanese too. It'll be funny. So come on out for that. What else do we need to touch on?
It looks like when I'm looking at the screen, it looks like I'm seeing double. In case you think the same, it's because I'm wearing, Mariana.
Well, my hair is kind of a mess today.
The superhero,
it's hat hair.
The superhero is here and here.
This piece was done by
Elliot Matisse, a great artist from upstate New York.
He was just here.
And he was just here.
We didn't get to see him because I got scolded that I didn't realize how hard he works.
Yeah,
I know.
He worked through the night to make it happen, because Hudson Yards opened last week.
Yep.
A big opening, and I think it was Friday, and I think the paint wasn't even dry yet by the time they opened. That's how close it came. Was it a restaurant?
Bel Campo, I think.
Bel Campo?
I don't know.
Bel Campo? Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll
I haven't
check
been
on
there.
that,
I'll
but
have to look.
They would redo
Elliot, if you're watching, put it in.
designing and decorating the entire restaurant.
Some old school, hand painting. I saw a picture of Kathy, his partner, doing painting with this tiny lettering.
Yeah.
I said, oh no, this is not for me. I will do loads of dishes. I will do dishes, but yeah, no.
Meticulous.
Too tedious for me.
So
I
this
would go
was
crazy.
so this was vintage, right? This is vintage at this point. I think it's 10 years ago or
No,
at least
I know.
15 years ago.
Yeah, at least 15 years
15 years ago.
and it still holds up.
Yes.
He's amazing. So if anyone needs any artwork done, look him up, Elliot Matisse.
Mariana, Gotham City.
And he's on Instagram, so he'll
Beautiful.
pop up. Yeah, and I just want to point out another artist since we're talking about our artists. I don't know if you can hear it, but we played her last week as well. And as soon as we went offline, I said, no! Because I love to give credit where credit is due. So to my sister in Berlin, Marusha!
Marusha, and please,
Rock on!
it's hashtag Marusha, M-A-R-U-S-H-A, great DJ from Germany in Berlin now. Maybe you want to write to her and maybe you want to ask her to release her latest album that we're listening to now in the US, because I don't think anybody can listen to it here yet, and I think that's a shame. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a great album.
It's such a
crazy.
great album.
The range on this album is, seriously, it's insane. It goes from a sweet little, a song that I would sing with the T-tops off my little Nissan Pulsar back in the day and driving down the highway to a soundtrack for a major blockbuster film. Like, it's got everything
If
on
you're
this
into
album.
break beats and drum and bass, that's the album for you. So only at Midoma and in Europe. Currently.
Another reason to come to Midoma on
Currently
visit. We'll play you
available,
Marusha's album. We can't sell it to you, but we can play it for you.
Exactly.
And what else? So I wanted to talk about truth, and I think it kind of goes into my artists and what they're made of. And I also wanted to talk about work ethic, right? Today.
Yes.
Work ethic, yes. We've talked about how did it change over the years, now versus then, and I think there is still a lot of pride and passion in the work, from how I see it, when it's happening. But I think there is a lot of in between where there is a void.
There's lost time.
There's
with
lost
that.
time.
Oh, there's not lost time. It's spent on Facebook.
Or
and-
Netflix.
But it's
Binging.
not spent doing anything
It's
other
just
than zoning out.
Exactly. Distraction.
So I can, we witness it. We have many great artists working with us, and it never, like when I see somebody work, I think the passion is alive today as much as it was 20, 30, 40 years ago. That wasn't that long ago when I started, but 35 years almost. So the passion didn't change. What did change, I think, is that in between. You almost like you turned on, and then you like turned off. And that there's a lot of time in between that could be used differently. Don't disconnect because you disconnect with whatever you were doing, on the shape or a color.
Yeah. Well, people feel with like stress, that's the way to disconnect. But when you're in arts and stuff, actually putting that stress into a piece can actually create something very cool.
Yes.
Rather than just sitting out and zoning out and watching a movie and you don't even know what just happened and you just lost 2 hours of your time that could have been spent by doing
But I
something
think,
else.
not everyone is able to meditate, and I think zoning out in any way that you can is fine.
Yeah.
I just think we need to bring back the workday. So if you are showing up at wherever it is that you must show up, feel you must show up, show your face and put in some time and do some work, however you earn a paycheck. I think if you allow yourself to spend more time on your phone than not, what happens when you're in your phone, you go from one link, one page to another thing, and you're just going boom, 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 through randomly, right? But if you have a client, like in our industry, when you have a client come in, I've noticed over the years, especially the last 4 years, I've noticed that when people go from sitting on their phone to a client, They approach that client differently every time, the next client differently. It is not allowing for consistency in your personality because you approach the client from whatever you were just involved with in your brain, in your face, in your phone. So if you were reading something sad, you're carrying that to the waiting area to greet your client. If you got an annoying text from someone in your family or your lover or your roommate or your super, you're going to carry that over to your client. If you got good news, bad news, whatever you were just dealing with, you're going to carry that over to your client. So much so that one client may have a beautiful experience, refer her friend or her roommate, and she gets approached after you saw some different content and says, I don't know, he seemed a little cranky when he said hello. I mean, by the end of the service, it was fine. So pay attention. Pay attention and understand everything. People say, I hear this all the time, regardless of what people do, because I'm a coach. People say, well, I know my work is good. Okay, well, right there, you're just showing me something. Confidence is great. Cockiness sucks. So get rid of it, lose the ego, and understand when we put other people first, especially when it is in our job to do so, you have to go through it with a smile on your face. I was telling someone the other day on Saturday, I said, you know, losing my dad in 2016 was hard. And I'm gonna try not to choke up right now. It was really difficult. It was really difficult. And there was so much family drama involved that weekend when we had to lay him to rest. I can't even tell you, but I do know, and I've gone through conversations with people saying that people kind of go insane at times like that. But having to come back to work was natural for me because my life goes on. My life goes on. He would want that for me if he was here. So of course I know that that's what I must do. So whatever the news is, whatever it is that happens, you have this life and we have to not wait. This is the year of why not, says Mariana at Midoma. So don't find reasons not to. Don't find excuses not to. Find reasons to do. Just go for it.
If you can do, yes.
Now I will say, this was my funny thing that I was thinking about, but it is the truth. We were talking about beauty pageants. I wonder why. After immigration, who can tie immigration and beauty pageants together?
There's a lot.
I wonder what the common denominator there is. But I said the one thing that always annoyed me is when they have the girls come out, they saunter out and they have these questions.
The interviewed
A lot of them way back when I was a little kid, I remember hearing world peace, world peace, world peace. Well, I probably wouldn't say that. And I said, I would probably say, I want no one in the world to ever be able to lie again. I want everyone to always speak their truth, knowing that there may be some really bad days in everybody's lives.
But we should.
Are you cheating on me, Joseph? Well, yes, I am. But then you know what you're dealing with. And you move on. Just tell the truth. So know your truth, own your heart, show up and support people.
And be active.
Be active. Do what you do. Love what you do.
Yeah, one way to be active is to visit us.
Again, attend.
And get your first service because we'll make you work for that too, right?
Yes.
This month.
Go ahead, tell them how to work for the
We're still working on it.
You tag the wall.
We have
an interactive
wall. Yeah, you can see it here, but it's over there. So you tag the wall with your cause, whatever you want people to know about, whatever you advocating for. Tag it, sign the wall, leave your mark. Sign the petition.
Yeah, we've been working on this petition for a couple of weeks. We still are, this past week, just been hanging around.
The petition.
156, what the petition is, it's about us as hairstylists being recognized as service arts, not under miscellaneous. Because when you work here in New York, what they have us under is miscellaneous services, which include car wash attendants,
cleaners,
doormen, it's totally a different type of work than what we do.
Not mocking those other
No.
jobs, just saying we are different.
Exactly.
We need to be in our own group. We
Yes.
need to be
Culinary arts?
reclassified.
Performing arts.
Visual arts, performing arts, and then there is
Yeah, they
service
get their
arts.
recognition
Yes.
under those, so we want to
Yes.
be recognized as well because we are artists.
And they
And
can
then-
find the petition where?
Petition. There is.
Link in our bios. I think there's one in mine. I know.
Yes, we'll put it up in our bio, so it's easy to find. If you can't find it, send us a message. We'll send you the link directly. And then, of course, third part of this great introduction offer is you have to share
that petition.
share the petition and maybe share the experience here at Midoma, because it always
With
is
a selfie.
It is a great experience for sure.
Right, so
What
you
is
have
that
to tag
special?
the wall, sign the petition, share the petition, and a
Yeah.
beautiful selfie would be great. And then I will give you what?
And then
How
you will
much
get
off?
what? 50% of every first-time service, which is great deal.
Can't get that deal anywhere. You can't.
On its own, but we put, of course, always a little bit extra with it, a mission, a cause, so it makes a little bit more sense, and it's fun. So try it out.
We
It's
want to
good.
share our
It's good.
art while you guys share our art.
Yeah,
You know?
That's right.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's a win-win.
Yes,
I'd
so
say.
With that,
With
I
that-
think it's 11:34. We're
Yeah.
about to start our day then, right?
So if you don't see you before Saturday, have a great week. But we
You're gonna be
definitely
here
want to see you Saturday, 7 to 9 p.m. Come in, have a glass of wine, meet great artists and great art, and feel the love in the room, because I think there's going to be a lot of it.
yeah, we'll be glowing.
Everybody will be glowing. So, and if you don't see anybody, we'll see you next Tuesday.
Yes. All right, everybody,
All
have
right.
a
I'll
great
see you.
day. Have a great week. Share, 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 and love.